In the second aliyah of Parshat Metzora, the Torah provides not only for a way of physical and spiritual cleansing and renewal and restoration, but also it teaches us about the profound impact of our words and ultimately our thoughts. This section emphasizes the reintegration of individuals back into the community, focusing on renewal and the elimination of the negative influence of what we call in Judaism Lashon Hara. So Lashon Hara literally means evil tongue or evil speech, and it's understood that the primary reason for sara'at, or falsely translated as leprosy, it's not really a good translation, but that the Hebrew word is sara'at, and that the main reason for it, the main cause of it, is Lashon Hara, or evil speech. Now, usually we focus on slander and gossip when we talk about Lashon Hara, rightfully so, but however, there's obviously other types of evil speech, Lashon Hara, such as complaining, which is ungratefulness, and pessimism, and negative self-talk, because if we believe that the Almighty is really in control, that's what it means to be the Almighty, then when we slander life in general, and we're always complaining about everything, and we're complaining, what we're really doing is we're complaining about God's rulership and the way that the Creator is running the world. And if we talk negatively about ourselves all the time, we're actually slandering the Creator who made us as we are in His image, the Bible says. Now, of course, there's room for constructive, helpful criticism and self-evaluation, but we should strive to make sure that it doesn't outweigh our optimism and gratitude. Okay, there's 5 important terms that are related to this Torah portion. Actually, this very specifically, this second aliyah, Parshat Metzora, and they don't necessarily all appear in the second aliyah, but they are all related to this aliyah. First one is the word Lashon Hara, of course. Again, as I've said many times, Lashon Hara means, Lashon is tongue, and it refers to speech, and Hara means evil. Okay, so the evil speech, the evil tongue. And then we also have the word lev or lavav, which it's not necessarily found in the parsha, but I'll tell you later why it's related. And then we have the word ozen, which means ear. Okay, and then we have the word yad, which means hand or arm. It could refer to the whole arm. And we also have the word regel, which refers to the foot or the whole leg. So I have my own personal drash, or my own personal insights and personal application for the second aliyah of Parshat Metzora. And it involves the ritual that's described there, where the Kohen, the priest, applies the blood, the dam, of the guilt offering, the asham, which the person being cleansed brings, right, from his offering. And the Kohen applies the blood on the person's right ear, and on his right thumb, and on his right toe. Now everything's on the right hand side, and what's on our right hand side is what is dominant about us. It's our strengths, right? It represents what makes us strong. Typically, of course, some people are left-handed and that's their dominant side, but for most people, the right is our strength. So in Parshat Metzora, the Kohen takes he takes the blood of the asham, the guilt offering, and he puts it on the person on their right ear, okay, on their right ear. And I believe this stands for the fact that when we really want to make teshuvah, when we really want renewal in our lives, it has to start with our minds, with our thoughts. Because number one, our ear is on our head, right? And number two, our ears are the primary way that we allow information into our minds and our hearts to train ourselves on how and what to think. It starts with what we hear, what we allow ourselves to hear. Of course, it also has to do with our eyes, but especially back in those days, it was primarily what we hear. So why do we sin? Why do we lie? Why do we commit adultery? Why would we steal? Well, it's often because we are thinking that this is the easy way, this is the best way, this is how to fulfill my desires, right? And why do we think that way? Well, because we don't spend enough time listening to words of holiness, listening to words of Torah. Why? Well, maybe it's because, we're not studying our Torah, we're not studying our Bible enough. We don't have enough godly friends. Of course we have to work, and we have neighbors that may not have the same faith as us. And that's why we have to seek out times and places and people and associations where we can feed our hearts and our souls, our conversations, our ears with goodness and holiness. So we absolutely have to guard what we hear. Our ear stands for, it symbolizes shmiya, which means listening. And this guarding of our ear, this is a metaphor for thoughtful attention and discernment in our interactions. Remember the Shema, which is the greatest, the most important prayer that a Jew recites every single day, morning and evening. Shema. It's based on listening. Shema means hear, listen, hearken, obey. And we do that with our ear. So we must guard our ears and make sure that we are listening, hearkening, and obeying the Creator and things that support the Creator's ways and the Creator's words. So then the Kohen, in Parshat Metzora, the Kohen, after putting the blood on the person's ear, then he puts the blood on the person's thumb, which is on his right hand. And our hand stands for what we do. So after we renew our thoughts, then we can renew our actions, because we won't think of doing them anymore. We won't think that way. We won't think that it's the better way to sin, right? So that's the order. First we renew our thoughts, and then we renew our actions, which is represented by our hand. Our hands control our ma'aseh, our action, our works, the things that we do. So it's very important to have intentional deeds and understand the connection between what we think with the things that we do. So after the Kohen sprinkles the dam, the blood of the asham, the guilt offering, on the person's right ozen, his ear, which is on his head, his rosh, and then he puts it on his right thumb, which is on his right hand, which is yad. And he then puts the blood on his right big toe, which is on his regel, which means foot or leg. And reglaim, which is plural, regel is reglaim when plural, it stands for the path that we walk in life, the direction, the derech, the path, the road that we walk, which points to the direction in life, the general direction in life that we are going, and the kind of choices that we make in our life journey. Sometimes we have to completely change our path. So when we have guilt, which is what the asham was for, the guilt offering, the Torah outlines a path to renewal and teshuvah, which is that we have to start with making sure that our thoughts are corrected, because that's what led us to sin in the first place, wrong thoughts. And then of course we have to make sure that our actions change. That's what's represented by our thoughts are represented by the blood on the ear, and then and the blood on the thumb, which is on our hand, that represents our actions. That must also be renewed. And then lastly, we also have to make sure that our life path in general, the direction of our life, is also headed towards God and not somewhere else. Rabbi Nachman once said that the reason why we sin is because of temporary insanity. We temporarily go insane. That's why we sin, because if we were thinking correctly, we would realize that this is not worth it. Sin is not worth it. And another Jewish rabbi once said that whatever comes out of our mouth is really just what is overflowing in our hearts, which, as I stated previously, our heart and our mind, in Hebrew it's the same word, lev, levav. And so our heart and our mind our emotions and our thoughts both stem from our innermost being. This is the heart, the lev. So if you have struggles and stress and sorrow and these other negative emotions in your heart, in your mind, in your life that can be blocking you from various things, various goals, various states of peace that you want to be in. It may be due to negativity, pessimism, unforgiveness, perfectionism, and the impact of other types of harmful speech that you are maybe saying and also hearing and listening to. And this can affect our lives and our relationships. So if you are, I would like to invite you to Torah life coaching, holistic life coaching from a Torah perspective. This is what I do. I became a holistic life coach because as a holistic healer, I saw that it was a very important part of my own personal health and healing, was to make sure that I had the right mindset in life, and that I was thinking thoughts about my circumstances, which I could not change. You can't change your circumstances, but you can certainly change your thoughts about them. And that's what a good coach will help you do. And of course, as a Jew, I have a biblical Torah-based perspective, which is shared by people who believe in the Bible. They are shared Judeo-Christian values, and that's how I help people through marriage, through life, to improve their health, etc., through this mindset renewal. So if you're interested in personal coaching with me, I invite you to visit my website at hebrewmayim.com, hebrewmayim.com, and click on the last menu item on the right hand side or on the bottom if you're on mobile, where it says personal coaching. And I do pray that everyone listening to my messages will indeed find holistic health of healing, healing of mind, body, and soul and spirit. Shalom.